Greetings, YouTube. Time to do a D&D style video because I am wearing a D&D style shirt. It's the Ampersand magazine, the and symbol. Recently I did a video where I picked a random book from my shelf next to me and I started doing a piece on that. Hi, Mandarin's here with us. Then it occurred to me that I own the Encyclopedia Magica, all 4 volumes. This is for the AD&D version of the game. I think this is, this is back in the TSR games days. I think this was for first shift. Oh, hush. Give me a year on this puppy. I'm sure they do. I just gotta find it. Which I'm remarkably bad at because they never really put them exactly in the same location. Give me a second. Got Fritz Lieber's name in here. I cannot find a date on this. What the heck? I found a cat. Nope, I cannot find a date on this, which is weird. I can't find a date. Interestingly, these were $25 when they were original. And I just checked on Amazon, and they're only going for like $38 now. So they haven't gone up appreciably over the years. Come on, you can go up or down, but you can't be right in front of me. So I thought I would take a look at this, and I actually have a handy dandy little marker right here, which is kind of cool because they come with fabric markers. And we're going to flip that out of the way. In the first chapter we get to this in this book is all about artifacts, which would at first you're going to be like, oh, artifacts, those are cool. And it's about random power tables for artifacts. Now, I got to tell you, I never liked the concept of random power tables. Now, I can understand having tables for like thing, earth powers, fire powers, yada, 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 if you're building a theme of some variety. But to me, artifacts should be custom-made items. They shouldn't necessarily have random elements, unless the random aspect is the artifact itself, the classic Wand of Wonder. Which could do all kinds of strange things. Yes, for example, occlude your mouth with a cat. There's a spell effect right there. Spellcaster now has a cat on his shoulder that prevents him from casting spells because he can't speak. I never liked random powers on that kind of level thing because an artifact was supposed to be the top tier. Artifact was supposed to be right up there. Nothing was more powerful than an artifact other than like the gods themselves. And even if an artifact was created unintentionally, say a sword falls into the blood of a slain hero and the sword absorbs some of the power of the hero, becoming an artifact in the process, something epic. It should still have powers tied to the event of the person's death, tied to their known characteristics, their personal traits, their fighting style, something. There should be a theme, in my opinion. And again, I think an artifact with random powers should really be built around random powers. So in that kind of corner case, this would be very good. But they do have so they first like to have things like abjuration. Here's an abjuration suggestions, and each one has 20 options. So you just use your classic D20. For example, cast spell turning for 2 turns, duration 1 per day. Turn, for those that don't remember that term, that's a bit of a tongue twister, is 10 minutes. So there was the round, a minute, a turn, 10 minutes, and then an hour. Yes, this is back in the version of the game when rounds were 1 minute long and you could only move 30 feet. Yeah, the 6-second rounds made a hell of a lot more sense. And it's one of the reasons that GURPS has, what is it, 2-second rounds? Because people realized the absurdity of a 1 minute round. It was. And we have Cataclysms. And the first one is cast Acid Storm to rain down upon the area effect for 2 full turns. Wow, that's powerful. Acid Storm is not a small scale spell, and for 20 friggin' minutes. Even if it was 6 seconds, that would be 20 rounds. That's pretty damn powerful. And for example, there's another one here, rain firestorm down upon the area of effect for 2 dice 6 rounds. Even that's pretty damn powerful. Next we have a cable called Combat. Cast harm upon an opponent struck by the weapon once per week. That'd be kind of cool. So you really need to do a hell of a lot of damage to somebody in the first try, and they think you're just wielding a standard weapon of some variety, and you get hit, and suddenly they've got 3 hit points left. Oh, that's going to make them unhappy. Even if they've got some kind of rapid regen, that's going to make them unhappy, particularly if you're with people who are hitting them at the same time. Then we have Conjuration. Let me give a blast. Cast Trap the Soul upon a creature by touch once per month. We have a Cursed chart. Instantly pollute any holy water within 30 feet of user. Good for an evil artifact, obviously. Detection. Cast magic 3 times a day. Now, we didn't really have cantrips back in the day when this was done. Really low level, 0 level powers. But an artifact that you have to have a per day power for detect magic, no. Passive abilities like this should just function whenever you use the item. You hold it or you activate it or something, because these low level detection things should not be per day powers for an artifact, flat out. Then we have Divination. Cast Augury 3 times a day. Cast Moment Reading. Don't forget Moment Reading. I don't remember what that one. Cast Past Life 3 times a day. That could be kind of good. Next we have Elemental Air. So we're into the elemental powers, as I mentioned earlier, which is good if you want to build an elemental themed artifact, or you want an artifact that maybe has more than one elemental, like something that bridges the gaps of the elemental powers. So he has cast Aerial Servant once per week. That's not a lot of power. That's a low-level power in my book. Cast Solid Fog once per day, and again, that's not a high-level power for artifact. So I'm hoping the artifact's got more oomph than that. Elemental Fire. Imbue the user with the ability to assume the form of a small fire elemental, changing body and possessions into flame. All within 5 feet suffer 2 dice 6 points of damage each round. Successful saving throw versus yada yada yada. And the user's physical blows inflict 2 die 8 points of damage per hit. I don't know what small fire elementals do now, like in Pathfinder first edition, which is the last version of any game I've looked at with any kind of depth. But I don't remember how much damage a small fire elemental does. The user is immune to all types of fire. The form lasts for 2 dice 6 rounds. That's not a bad little power right there. Though, again, depending on the power of the artifact, maybe that transformation, which does negate all your other magical items, maybe even the artifact itself, maybe that should last longer, or should we just... I don't have a problem with people turning at high level. You get an artifact, a person wants to turn into a fire elemental only the time they bloody well please, let them. We have Elemental Water. We have Cast Ice Storm once per day. Here we go. Shoot a watery blue beam at a single target. Destruct the target must roll a sexual saving throw versus death magic. Back in the days of death magic saves. If the saving throw fails, the target is slain as the victor melts into a puddle of ooze. If the save is successful, the target still suffers 2 die 8 points of damage. This power is not effective on water-based creatures or those that lack solid structures, puddings, oozes, jellies, etc. once per day. That's kind of interesting. I don't remember how difficult it is to save against death magic. Like, where does death magic fall on the saving throw scale? It was back in the days when we had 5 saves, and death magic was one of them. I much prefer the will, reflex, and constitution saves. They make a lot more sense to my book. And we have Power of Earth. Cast Flesh to Stone by touch once per day. Flesh to Stone is pretty dangerous. You can pretty much take somebody out completely if they fail their save. That's it. They're out of the fight. They are now stone. And unless you pick somebody who's like some kind of stone elemental being of variety, they're stuck. That could be quite... and another one in here is Cast Wall of Stone once per day. And that's kind of, again, for an artifact, that's not what I call a high power ability. Then we have Enchantment Chart, cast Emotion once per day. Because it can cast Suggestion 3 times a day. Okay, that's a little better. Fates and Fortunes. To get some flat bonuses like +1 saving throw to +1 to all saving throws. That's pretty cool. What's that? Is that the Luckstone ring or something like that? Does that? And cast +1 bonus to all users. Thaco. Remember Thaco? 2 hit armor class 0. Such memories. Thaco. I need a Thaco t-shirt. I don't have a Thaco t-shirt. Grant a +1 bonus to all die rolls for the division of treasure. Wow, people randomly dividing treasure. And then it says this bonus is mandatory? Wow, okay, the next one is permanently imbue the user with all knowledge of the gambling proficiency. If the user is already proficient in gambling, add a +1 to the ability score. I don't remember how we used those kind of proficiencies back in the day. I don't. We used them, I know we did, but I don't remember. It's been a long ass time since I dealt with that. So at least the Fate and Fortune section is a little more interesting. It's got a little, something going on there. Next we have Healing. Constantly provide user with the benefit of an accelerated healing. That makes perfect sense. You heal better because you've got an artifact. Cast Cure Light Wounds 7 times per day. Cast Neutralize Poison 3 times a day. Cast Regenerate 1. Cast Raise Dead or Regenerate once per week. That's not bad. Erase scars and other disfigurements caused by battle at will. Okay. You're always pretty, and everyone in your party is pretty. Unless, of course, that probably pisses off the half-orc or the orc who wants the scars. Immunity. Okay, we have some immunity powers. Grant immunity to all magical diseases. Does not offer immunity to common diseases. That seems weird. If it's an artifact and like a periapt, is it periapt? Of health will prevent you from both magical and mundane diseases. I think an artifact should do that as well. Yeah, that's pretty lame. You should get both of those with an artifact. Make the user immune to energy drains. That's kind of cool. Next we have major powers. Okay, what's the major power look like? Cast Age Object. I don't remember what Age Object does, but it sounds bad. Cast Animate Dead, Blade Barrier, cause critical wounds, control weather. Control weather is a weird one. It was like a spell casting time. I think it still might be, at least in Pathfinder 1st edition, of like 10 minutes. It's not a fast spell, and the area effect is large, but it's like 2 miles, and it's, but as far as weather is concerned, that's not a huge amount. I mean, that's good if you're trying to save your community from some major storm, or you want to alleviate, like, a drought specifically in a certain area, but it's not huge. So I've always found that spell strange. It seemed like to fall in this gap below what I thought it should be. It's like control weather, and it just does. It seems to fall short of what I think it should. Cast Live Oak. I don't remember Live Oak being that good. In fact, now that I think about it, while the name rings a bell, I can't remember any of us ever using that damn spell. Cast Space Warp. Don't know what Space Warp does. Cast Veil, Wall of Force. That's good. Wall of Thorns. Not so great. And cast Wither. That's not too bad. Minor powers. Cast Accelerate Healing 5 times a day. Good for your buff. Good with the other one. Accelerate Healing is your power, but you can then buff your friends as well temporarily. Cast Continual Darkness 3 times a day. Cast Levitate. I guess for other people, if that's going to have that ability, then you get off my string. You do not get my bookmark. Go away. But then the thing about it, you levitate all the time. Cast Slow 3 times a day. Okay, cast Summon Lycanthrope. Oh, that's a good one. You summon Lycanthropes. Whatever kind of you get. I don't. Wow, I don't. I should look that spell up now. Next we have Movement. Cast Airwalk 2 per day. Cast Flame Walk 3 per day. That's a little more problematic. Cast Wind Walk 1 per day. Cast Wraith Form. That Wraith Form is kind of interesting. Offensive powers. Cast Age creatures. Cast Big B's Crushing Hand. That's a good one. I always like a Big B's Crushing Hand. The Big B spells, by and large, are pretty cool. Fire a black beam of death that causes 2 to 8 points of damage to any creature successfully hit. The beam's range is 100 yards 5 times per day. Yeah, that spells had a different range increments back then they do now. They're the range increments now. Again, most things in like 3.5 or Pathfinder, I'm assuming Pathfinder 2nd edition, are far more consistent across the board, and they make more sense from spell to spell because everything has a much greater degree of consistency, which is something I really appreciate. Cast Disintegrate once per week. That's a good spell. Okay, next is Nature. Number 1, have animal friendship constantly in effect as long as the artifact is in hand. Okay. Cast Animal Growth 3 times per day. That's kind of cool. Cast Call Lightning once per day. That's not a bad spell, but again, it's an artifact. Like, yeah, I think of an artifact, I think of Mjolnir. You think Mjolnir should be able to cast lightning anytime he goddamn well wants to. All right. Cast Wall of Thorns once per day. Wall of Thorns is a lame-ass spell in my book. We have Necromancy. Cast Abdi Dalzim's Horrid Wilting once per day. Don't know that one off the top of my head. What a shocker. Cast Animate Dead 3 times a day. That's a good one. Turning your enemies dead into your aids in a fight. Cast Feign Death 3 times a day. Again, Feign Death's a weird spell. It does high level powers. You get an artifact. How often do you need to feign death? Unless you're trying to like sneak someone through something. And if you've got an artifact, you have probably better methods. Cast Vampire Touch. Cast Wail of the Banshee. I bet that's a Sonic ability, but I don't remember what it is. Next we have Personal Enhancements. That sounds like an ad you'd see on late night television. Cast Alter Self at will for as long as the artifact is owned. That's good. That makes sense. Clairaudience or Clairvoyance at will. Provide a user with the effects of a Deep Pockets regardless of what is worn for as long as the artifact is owned. Regenerate 2 of the user's hit points per turn for as long as the artifact is owned. So that's 2 hit points every 10 minutes. That's not bad. It's not fast. It's not fast. But that's definitely not bad. Grant the user permanent ability to speak with monsters at will. That's permanent. So you pick that up and it's yours forever. That's kind of cool. And what's the last one? Bestow upon the user the ability to use ventriloquism at will permanently. How often have you used ventriloquism? Yes. Table 1-22, Planar. Cast Exaction. Don't know what Exaction does. Cast Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion twice a week. That's cool, though it's like a day power in my book because you're going to want to have it around like when you camp, aren't you? Of course, you probably have an Iron Tower in your pocket, too. Cast Plane Shift once per week. That's kind of cool. It is an artifact. And we go cast Wish once per month. That's an artifact power right there, folks. Okay, Protection. Grant an armor class bonus of +2 to the user when held. Cast Fire Shield once per day. Again, this is a Fire Shield is not a great spell. It's not bad, but it's once per day. Maintain protection from fire continuously in effect as long as the artifact is in hand. I think that's good. And granting the person immunity. Alrighty, next is Divination results. This is taken from Oriental Adventures, which is a very problematic title now. Alrighty, so you roll a divination and you get favorable omen. The character will be able to travel half again the normal traveling rate that day. All right. Then we have an enhancement type, and then they give anything item aquatic. Oh, okay. Sorry, we're out of the artifacts and we're into Enchanted Enhancements now. All right. I apologize. I didn't want to go any further in the book. I thought I was rolling into something more artifact stuff. But the divination results are the last bit of the section on artifacts, which seems like kind of a lame way to end your chapter on artifacts, but that's just me. All right, well, that's been the section on artifacts. Next is Enchanted Enhancements, which we will look at in the next video. So thank you for joining me in the Encyclopedia Magica Volume 1. And we're going to probably do multiples because this is a 400-page book, and there are 4 of these. So we're going to be talking about these at length, apparently. So hope you enjoyed this, and if you have a copy of this, tell me where did you get it and where did you get it. Quick aside, how I acquired this, I did not purchase these. They were originally 25 bucks a pop. These were purchased by a player in my campaign at the time, in age when these were like contemporary. And he joined a Christian cult and gave me all his gaming books and then disappeared. Actually, for real, disappeared. His family reached out to try to find him, hoping I would know where he was, and I did not know where he was, and I do not know where Jeff is now. I don't even remember Jeff's last name at this point. I wish him well. I hope he got out, because cults are not really all that healthy. I wonder where he is. But I got his books. The rest of his gaming books I've given away, I think. I might have sold them, or I may have sold them. But I kept these because these were just too freaking cool, bound, one built-in bookmark, and they're the 4-volume set, which I would not have purchased myself because I wasn't about to drop $100 even at the time of purchase. Okay, thank you for being here for this video, and I hope that you'll show up for the next one.